What's going on between Rhea Ripley and Solo Sikoa? Whereas Alexa Bliss, Seth Rollins begs fans for help, Roman Reigns acknowledges Trish Stratus' body, Roman Reigns replaced by younger, intimidating Anoa'i family member, injury caused by Rhea Ripley puts out WWE star for a lengthy period, Randy Orton destroys Rhea Ripley. Let's jump right into it. Where is Alexa Bliss? Alexa Bliss' whereabouts have been a constant cause of concern for the WWE Universe over the past few months. She was last seen at the Royal Rumble event on January 28, 2023, fighting Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. However, she could not capture the title as Belair delivered a KOD to emerge victorious. Although Little Miss Bliss was initially sidelined due to basal cell carcinoma, she has been reportedly cleared to wrestle again. Bliss was heavily rumored to be a part of WrestleMania 39 in some capacity, but that didn't materialize. The 31-year-old star made a non-wrestling appearance last month when she competed in Season 9 of The Masked Singer as Axolotl. Alexa Bliss is still on a break from WWE television. Despite fans hoping for a quick return, reports suggest that there are currently no creative plans for her. The bookers are possibly busy churning out ideas to reintroduce the former champion to the main roster amid the absence of Bray Wyatt. Moreover, given that Bliss has been absent from active competition for a while, she might need to shake off the ring rust before she can set foot inside the squared circle again. WWE spent months building up segments that strongly suggested its intent to reunite Alexa Bliss with Bray Wyatt. From random visits by Uncle Howdy on Raw to Bliss blanking out after witnessing the Firefly symbol, the storyline had fans hooked. Things looked promising for the trio until Bliss and Wyatt took a hiatus from TV. Another significant concern for the eerie storyline is Bray Wyatt's reported medical issue. Similar to Alexa Bliss, it is unknown when he will return. Before being sidelined from active competition, Wyatt was also in a separate storyline with Bobby Lashley, and both were rumored to lock horns at WrestleMania 39. The landscape of the main roster will change on the April 28 episode of SmackDown. Both stars will likely be eligible for the draft, which will run up to the May 1, 2023 edition of Raw, and there's a massive possibility of Bliss and Wyatt being drafted to the same brand. They could even return to television together while WWE Creative explains the reason behind their reunion. While Alexa Bliss is dealing with Twitter trolls again, Bray Wyatt's social media handles are unsurprisingly silent. He usually drops hints about his return, as seen in the White Rabbit angle last year. The Eater of Worlds last tweeted a message of support to Arn Anderson after the latter's son passed away. Speaking of the third entity in the storyline, Uncle Howdy's identity has been a hotly debated topic since he arrived on the blue brand. Seth Rollins begs fans for help. For the second time this week, Seth Rollins had something to ask from the fans. He sent out a tweet begging for their help on behalf of a fan while in the middle of quite a bit of controversy himself. The superstar was rumored to have walked out of a WWE event a few weeks back and apparently had heat backstage. There were even rumors that he would be leaving the promotion because one of his segments was cut short with an ad break by the production team. A later tweet indicated this was not the case, as he was delighted with his match being booked on Raw. A recent report has emerged saying that he does not even have any backstage heat in WWE. Earlier in the week before Raw, he asked for help on behalf of a fan who needed a lung transplant, as the SCW Pro promotion shared another update on their collection on behalf of Michael Latcham's lung transplant. Rollins retweeted them again, saying he had a wild week and begged the fans to donate if they could, adding that Latcham was fighting. "My guy has had a wild week. Please give if you can. He's fighting," he wrote. A recent report revealed that Seth Rollins' match from this week's episode of Raw was produced by the legendary Hurricane himself, Shane Helm. While Helms used to be a full-time wrestler in WWE, he has now taken on the mantle of a producer backstage. He has recently helped book some of the top bouts, and the match between Miz and Rollins was his doing. On top of that, the match received a lot of good feedback backstage, and the fans also loved it. Seth Rollins' direction after WrestleMania is not yet clear, but having beaten Logan Paul, a feud might be coming soon. Who do you want to see the superstar face next? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Roman Reigns acknowledges Trish Stratus' body. Trish Stratus recently took to social media to send a message to Roman Reigns. The WWE legend reacted to an old photo of the tribal chief, where he is seen next to a cutout of Stratus. The WWE Universe has now reacted to the Hall of Famer's message to Reigns on social media. A large portion of fans suggested that she should join forces with the Bloodline. One Twitter user even claimed that the former women's champion is the tribal queen. However, one fan pointed out that Reigns only acknowledges Stratus' body and not her work. Disco Inferno believes that Cody Rhodes might not be the one to end Roman Reigns' title reign. Speaking on the K100 podcast, Inferno claimed he wanted to see how hot Randy Orton's momentum is when he returns to action. He believes that the Viper would get a massive pop if he ended Reigns' title reign. I'll be honest, I don't know if everybody's just assuming that Cody was going to beat Roman. He might not be the guy to beat Roman. I would like to see how hot Randy Orton is when he comes back, because Randy Orton is a guy that could beat Roman and get a huge pop, I think. Rhodes came agonizingly close to beating the tribal chief at WrestleMania 39. Unfortunately, interference from the bloodline led to the American Nightmare suffering a major loss in his first ever WrestleMania main event. Reigns, meanwhile, will soon complete 1,000 days as the Universal Champion. It remains to be seen who his next title challenger will be. Who should Reigns defend the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against next? Sound it off in the comments section below. Roman Reigns replaced by younger, intimidating Anoa'i family member. Roman Reigns has been in charge of WWE's main event scene for a long time. One of the reasons that he has been able to keep his position is the dominance of the bloodline. Whenever it looked like he could lose, the Usos or Solo Sikoa turned the tide in his favor. But what if he was suddenly bereft of the bloodline's support? What if the next generation of superstars coming from the Anoa'i family were to overthrow Roman Reigns and replace him with the star everyone is talking about now, Solo Sikoa? That is a genuine possibility. On the main WWE roster, the bloodline is currently ruled by Roman Reigns, who has kept the Usos and Solo Sikoa under his thumb. But other stars are just waiting to burst onto the scene. The Rock's daughter, Ava Raine, is part of a cult-like faction in NXT. 31-year-old Lance Anoa'i is part of the Samoan SWAT team in Major League Wrestling with Jacob Fatu, also 31. Both are young and capable enough to join WWE soon. While Solo Sikoa has always taken the time to acknowledge his uncle Umaga in WWE, the legend's son has also recently started in Booker T's reality of wrestling promotion under the name Zilla Fatu. Together, that's quite a few superstars. Even without the support of the Usos, that might be all it takes for the next generation of Anoa'i wrestlers to overthrow Roman Reigns and replace him as the head of the bloodline with Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa faced Rey Mysterio on this week's Raw. The Hall of Famer put him over, and the Enforcer was caught thanking him for doing him the honor. There was speculation that Reigns might choose to punish Sikoa for doing what he did. That will probably not be the case, though, as such moments between wrestlers are common. Reigns would not punish the star for just honoring a legend of the business, as this is not the first time that a wrestler has broken character in the ring. Injury caused by Rhea Ripley puts out WWE star for a lengthy period. Accidents happen inside the squared circle, and one such incident involving Rhea Ripley sadly led to Zelina Vega being sidelined for a lengthy period. During her recent appearance on Out of Character with Ryan Satin, Zelina Vega confirmed that she hurt herself during a spot with Rhea Ripley. No wrestler would like to suffer an injury, but in Vega's case, it eventually worked out well for her. As she explained below, "I had a ruptured implant from Rhea. But you know what? Again, I've said this before in a joking way, it actually worked out for the better because things happened, and it sucked at first, and now I'm like, oh, we're good now. They are better than ever, and everyone's happy. My husband's happy, and everyone's happy. So yeah, it worked out," laughs. This isn't the first time Zelina Vega has talked about her most recent injury layoff, as she previously spoke about it during an interview in January earlier this year. Back then, however, Vega didn't reveal the name of the superstar who unintentionally injured her and noted that it was one of her best friends. Regarding the spot in question, Vega recalled that Rhea Ripley's shoulder went into her chest during a Northern Lights suplex that inadvertently caused the injury. "One of my best friends and I were in a match, and she had given me this move called a Northern Lights suplex, where basically she kind of flips me over her backwards and her shoulder went into my chest and I ruptured an implant," stated Vega. Randy Orton destroys Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley has been incredibly dominant in WWE over the past 12 months. Not only is she the SmackDown Women's Champion, but the Eradicator has attacked several male superstars. She constantly lays her hands on the Judgment Day's rivals with barely any pushback. This week's episode of Raw proves that Ripley isn't slowing down. She hit Kevin Owens with a clawless line and had an intense stare down with Solo Sikoa. However, while the Australian star has been inviting them to attack her, no male wrestler has tried to do so. Even the Bloodline's Enforcer may not follow up on their brief confrontation. Only one man can step up and give Rhea Ripley what she seemingly deserves. Someone who has a history of attacking women in the WWE, Randy Orton. He is still recovering from severe back issues, last appearing on the May 20, 2022 episode of SmackDown. But when the Viper returns, he could go into a feud with the Judgment Day. Orton wouldn't back down from Ripley. In fact, he would be happy to RKO her, just like he did to Stephanie McMahon, Stacey Keibler, Nia Jax, and many more women. However, despite the possibility of Randy Orton hitting an RKO on Rhea Ripley, WWE still might not be comfortable booking a competitive intergender match. The Eradicator's ultimate comeuppance would have to come within the women's division itself. Ripley is currently part of the Judgment Day's feud with the Latino World Order, which means a title match between her and Zelina Vega will likely happen soon. The two could face off at Backlash in San Juan, Puerto Rico on May 6. Beyond that, the WWE draft could determine Rhea Ripley's next few opponents. Quite a few Raw stars would make for great challengers if they move to SmackDown, with Asuka and Becky Lynch leading the way. However, there is one dream match Ripley needs to have. A match between her and Bianca Belair must happen in the coming year, potentially at WrestleMania 40. Both superstars have grown as performers since their last match against each other and are the women's champions of their respective brands. The EST of WWE might be the woman who finally takes Ripley down. Who do you think should dethrone Rhea Ripley? Let us know in the comments section below. What's going on between Rhea Ripley and Solo Sikoa? Former WWE head writer Vince Russo heavily criticized Rhea Ripley and Solo Sikoa's recent on-screen chemistry. On this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, Bloodline and Judgment Day joined hands as they agreed to work with each other. While Paul Heyman revealed that it was a secret deal set up by Roman Reigns himself, the Eradicator and the Enforcer were seen staring down each other with fury. While speaking on the latest edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Russo recalled the time when the Usos and Bloodline were facing Judgment Day. He further stated how Ripley had gone against every other woman on the roster to prove herself. The veteran detailed, "We have got the Usos and the Bloodline lined up on one side, and we got Judgment Day lined up the other side, and they're all facing each other, right? So Rhea Ripley is staring down Solo Sikoa. Chris, was it not a month ago that Rhea Ripley was going 50-50 with every girl on the roster? I mean, right or wrong? That's what I mean about this freaking company. As a casual fan and I'm watching this, I'm like, if that was China in that spot, that's one thing. But China didn't go 50-50 with a Chelsea Green for crying out loud. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Did they forget all that? Did they forget that they did all that so Rhea Ripley is not a threat to Solo Sikoa?" WWE superstar Natalya recently stated that she would like to face SmackDown Women's Champion Ripley in a singles match. Speaking in an interview with Jerry Roy for the Israeli News, Natty mentioned that she would like to go against Judgment Day's Eradicator for a championship match at WrestleMania next year. She further added that she would like to face Ripley for SmackDown as well as the Raw Women's Championship. "I would love to have a singles match next year against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship. I say the Raw one because I've never won the Raw one. It's the only championship for the women that I haven't won," she said. It would be interesting to see what plans WWE has going forward for Judgment Day and Bloodline.